COO, Coleman Auto Group, Jami Langham. Welcome to the show, Jami.
Hey, Jamie.
Hi.
Jami, we are pumped to have you here. So actually, before we go in and we ask you our banner question, how's biz? We'd also like to have you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do there at the Coleman Auto Group. So how's biz, Jami?
Well, business is great. I just started with the Coleman Automotive Group on like last Monday, so my life has been a little bit of a whirlwind,
That's fast.
getting getting associated with all of the stores and kind of how they operate.
Yeah.
I have been in the industry for 29 years. The majority of it was spent in the finance world. And then I've been the GM of Toyota Lexus stores. And I've done a little bit of marketing, websites, internet, BDCs, sales, finance director. So I've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah. What drew you to the COO role and the Coleman Auto Group? That's a big change. So you go from the Fort Wayne market to the Midwest. You go from one or two stores to, the Coleman Auto Group is scaled from 1 to 5 stores in just a year. And Kyle was on here and he talks about how he wants to grow to 40 within the next decade. What prompted your leap?
So I love a challenge.
Love it.
I've known Kyle for quite a while, actually. I've known Kyle and his brother Ryan, and we he when he was looking at doing the dealerships, I was one of the early investors, so I'm a shareholder,
Okay.
and decided that maybe I should use my talents and gifts to help grow something that I'm a part of. And I believe in Kyle. He is crazy, and when he sets his mind to something, it will happen. If he says he's going to have 40 stores, he's going to have 40 stores.
Yeah. So when you think about it, what are the foundational steps that you've put in place as you come over? I mean, you're brand new, right? So you're probably still trying to figure things out. But as you think about that rapid expansion, what what steps are you putting in place to help ensure consistent growth as you grow so rapidly? Like going 1 to 5 in 12 months is tough, and then from 5 to 40 in a decade is also a challenge. How are you approaching that, scaling it?
So my initial whenever I go into somewhere new, I never think that I have all the answers. So I like to go in and kind of look and see how things are running, what I think is doing well, what I think could probably be tweaked. So my goal to start out with is to make it to each store. I'm at the second store that I've been to. So I started with the Nissan store in Warsaw. That's closest to me. And this week I'm at the Mount Pleasant store, kind of just going through a little bit of everything, seeing their processes from sales to service, looking at the financial statements, looking at, basically how everything is running. I will come up with a game plan for what I think is working well, what I think could probably use improvements, get with the general manager of that store, get with Kyle, Jay, and, go from there on implementing what I think they could benefit from.
So at the Rorman Auto Group, in your prior place of employment at Fort Wayne Toyota, you were recognized at least once as the top GM in the Rorman Auto Group with the Alpha Award. Which,
Yes,
by
I
the
was.
way, isn't that
Somebody
a
told somebody
that's
Kyle must have told you that because I
that's
I
a
did not. Yes.
that's a great name for an award, by the way, the Alpha Award. Hey, what did you think of that? And then, what does it take to get that award? How did you earn that?
So they set out metrics like at the beginning of the year that you have to hit, and they have a program there that all of the departments have to be in. So your sales, your service, your parts, every the finance, everything has to be
Align.
firing on all cylinders. You
Yeah.
have to have a specific net to sales. You have to win your president's award. Like there was just of different categories that I had to do. There's 21 stores, and I was the only GM who got the Alpha Award last year. And yeah, I
So,
was super proud
so,
of that.
so, Jami, like getting that last year, it's in a tough business environment. Give our audience one strategy that you applied last year to win that Alpha Award to become the best of the best in the Rohrman Auto Group.
So I looked at it every day. Like I knew what I had to do. I knew what the metrics were. Look, Ryan Norman's a pretty smart guy. So
Yeah.
I figured if I follow his program and I do what he's asking me to do, my store is going to be successful.
Yeah.
So I kept it in front of me. I kept it in front of my employees every week. My guys knew where we were, if we were on track. I'm a big metric person, and I believe that when everybody knows the goal and everybody knows what we're driving for, then they all get on board and they all feel like they're a part of something and they help drive it. I didn't do it by myself. I did it with my team. I did it with everyone around me, and everyone knew what the goal was. Everyone knew that that's what we were going for, and they were proud to have, the only alpha GM.
That's awesome.
Love it.
So, Todd, in the green room before you came on, we talked a little bit about how unique it is to have someone like yourself in a senior executive position for a group. You're a woman in an industry that is really male driven, male dominated. What Give us your take on where you are today, how you got there, and what gave you the confidence to say, "Hey, I'm going to go out. I'm going to become the CEO of a large group, and we're going to go grow this in an industry where you don't see a lot of women in those senior executive positions."
Yeah. So, when I was coming up through the ranks, so I started in sales. I did sales for 3 years, and I wanted to move into the finance department. And I never felt like I was being held back to move into the finance department because I was a woman. I felt they were doing it because I sold too many cars, and they didn't want
That's awesome.
they didn't want to move me out of it. Um,
Yeah.
so I just never thought about being a woman that it was that big of a deal. It wasn't until I became a GM and people started saying crazy things to me that I was a
Like
woman that
what?
I'm like, oh goodness. I had one gentleman, I was at a Lexus event, and the only people invited to this event were dealer principals, GMs. I mean, everybody couldn't come to this meeting. So obviously I
Yeah.
had to be one of those two people. And
Yeah.
he's sitting down next to me and he says, "Oh, what do you do at the store?" And I said, "Well, I'm the general manager of the store." And
Yeah.
he pats me on the leg and says, or not yet, he doesn't pat me. He says, "Oh, do your parents own the store?" And I
Oh my
said,
gosh,
"No,
no,
no, no, no. I'm
no.
actually one of those women that actually has a brain, and I did it all on my own. I worked really hard and I came up through the ranks and learned everything I could. And I actually became a GM on my own with my own brain." He pats me on the leg and says, "Oh, sweetie, good for you."
Wow.
Wow.
So yes,
Wow.
I've kind of heard it all, but it was actually kind of shocking to me because I've never thought about being a woman that it was a hindrance. I always seen it as a superpower.
Big
Yeah.
time.
I do care about people, and they they tend to follow me. I have very loyal employees.
Yeah. What message would you give to other women looking to, either own a dealership, get into senior executive positions in a dealership, become a general manager, and not because of family relationships, but just because that's where they see their path? And what message would you deliver to them?
I would say soak it all up. Your women do have the ability to multitask. They just do. I
Better
know that
than men, by the way, I think in
they
a lot
say
of
it's not a
cases.
real thing, but yes, it is. I can multitask with the best of them.
Yeah.
Take it all in and never think that you can't do it. Like there
Yeah.
is absolutely no reason. Learn, pay close attention to everything, and if you set your mind to it, you can absolutely do it, and you can do it with the family. I raised 3 boys through this craziness. My husband and I have been together 35 years. Just celebrated 30th wedding anniversary.
Congrats.
You can have it all. You really can.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, we're going to turn with you to some of the industry news popping up from today because I'd love to get your perspective again as part of a brand new group. We saw this news of Google's new ad policies now requiring clear pricing to fight deception. What's your take on that? Is there a need for this type of a policy from a lead aggregator, lead distributor, lead generator like Google to take a stand on pricing? And how are your stores, or how will your stores adapt to this new policy to build customer trust?
So to me, it's sad that we would need a policy like this.
Yeah.
But I suppose it is necessary. I mean, there are people that, are deceptive, which gives, there's deceptive people in any industry. But it gives the car business a bad name. Transparency is the best way to go. We live in a
Yeah.
world where everything is at everyone's fingertips. Why you would think that you would get away with deceptive practices in today's world? You're just setting yourself up for failure. So it's unfortunate that this even needs to be spoken of or a policy, but the industry, people do desperate things, when they're trying to get ahead, which is sad. If you just, in my opinion, I've always just done the right thing, try to do it the best way for the customer, and you always win.
Yeah. The other thing that's in the news that's kind of interesting right now, earlier this week, we've been reporting, actually for the last 2 weeks, of potential chip shortages stemming from a shortage from a Dutch chip supplier and an argument with China. And it's actually trickling down. We're starting to see some delays in Honda, and some other OEMs are saying they're scaling back some production. From your level and position, how do you deal with that? It seems like we're always seeing these market shifts in automotive, and if we start to see less new cars in the marketplace, in a growing auto group such as yourself with Ford, CDJR, Chevy, Buick, Lincoln, Toyota, how will you adjust and adapt to that?
Well, you're going to have to go back to, used is going to have to be, if the new car market is dwindling again, you're going to have to go back to the used market. And that is a tough market. I mean, acquiring vehicles is not an easy, it's not for the faint of heart, that is for sure. But also, I do think that there will still be some cars there. You need to have good relationships with your OEM. You do need to, these cars are not heirloom pieces. It's okay to separate from a car, sell the car,
Yeah.
get them on, get them out, get them circulating. They're going to come back to your service department. So I think probably lean a little bit heavier again on used cars, but hopefully we don't go back to that huge pendulum swing that we did with used cars, and it doesn't, kind of spike up quite as much as it did, and we stay a little bit more even keeled this time.
Yeah.
We learned from our mistakes. We'll hope.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Jami, a few questions from social media. Mustafa says, which processes are best to operationalize and standardize across multiple multiple rooftops?
So I think that each store is a little bit unique, and it depends on your market and your surroundings. But I think the way that we're looking at actually maybe standardizing some pay plans. Those are always good to kind of standardize, and the process from the desk to the customer to the service department, the handoff. I think those are good processes to have equal across all with all the organizations. But I do have different brands that I'm dealing with, and I did just start, and I don't
Yeah.
like to change everybody's
Yeah. Yeah.
situation my first day.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
I can come back on after I'm here 6-7 months, and I can answer that question a little bit better for our group.
Yeah. And actually, so I am curious, in my own COO role, I think one of the things when I think about standardizing, to Mustafa's point, and getting operations consistent across a group, finding good vendor partners are key, right? So whether it's a DMS, whether it's a
Yep.
CRM, whether it's lead providers, because you develop those relationships and you can ask them to outpunt, and help you become better. Are there any tools out there from your time at Toyota or history in the automotive experience that have really provided a valuable return that you lean into as you take on this new role?
So our DMS, we have Techion. I had Techion at Toyota Lexus, and we also have Techion with the Coleman Automotive Group. I personally like them a lot. I know, you hear mixed reviews, but I do like them. Their superpower is it can do everything, and it has so much information. And then the
Yeah.
negative is that they can do everything. So it's
Yeah.
their, it's a lot of information that you can get. I love their executive dashboard. We are going to implement a few things rolling out for November that I want to see in the Techion DMS. But the Techion, I do think, is one of the things that I like the best. I can really dive into the information and see how a store is really performing.
So your former boss, Ryan Norman's been on the show once, and he did kind of a master class on the AI tech stack and tech stacks in general. Anything that you're taking from your experience there and implementing into the new group as it relates to the AI world, which we've talked about ad nauseum for many episodes, right? As has the entire industry.
Yes. So AI, I have a love-hate relationship with
Oh, really?
AI. I
Yeah.
do. I mean, I love the human touch. It is, but I think there is a need for it. And, the some of the stuff being automated, I think is definitely an advantage. So yes, there are some things that I will be bringing over from my former group to here. There's a lot of things that they did well. It's a great group. I mean, the Roman Automotive
Yeah.
Group, they are amazing, and it's a great group. And we're hoping here at the Coleman Automotive Group to grow bigger.
Yeah. All right. Last question up because I'm super curious about this. You're new to the role. You know Kyle, you know probably some of the other employees, but one of the biggest tasks right out the gate in your COO role is to establish credibility with the GMs, the different employees that you work with. What's your tip and strategy to develop that relationship and that credibility so that you can steer the ship? Again, 1 to 5 in a year is a lot of growth, but certainly 5 to where you want to go as an organization over the next decade is tremendous growth. How do you get that buy-in and build that credibility among your team?
So, like I do with anyone when I come in somewhere, I think I'm very personable. I genuinely care about each and every one. I want every store to succeed. And I think if you pour into your people, I think they really can feel that.
Yeah.
I do know what I'm talking about. So that definitely helps when we have conversations. They can see that I'm not just blowing smoke and I'm not asking them to do something that I never did myself. So I
Yeah.
think my 29 years experience, that definitely helps. And I genuinely care about each and every person that I am going to be leading. I want them to have the best life possible. I want all their employees to have the best life possible because when you pour into those people, um, they it makes everybody feel like a team. It makes everyone we're all driving for the same thing, and that's when you have the best results when everyone feels like they're a part of something. So I feel
Yeah.
like I do a decent job of relaying that because it's genuine.
Yeah. Well, some great comments for you off social media. We'll just read a couple of them. Lauren Klein says, "Women in automotive are super women." Great
Agreed.
inspiration. So props to you from Lauren. Somebody's saying CRM down for y'all. I don't know where that's coming from, but maybe it is. Maybe, it seems like there's always a CRM
Oh,
down
I don't
somewhere.
know. I'm not on there right now. Maybe.
Yeah, yeah, we're not either. And then the CDG were saying, hey, who does everybody want to see on the next episode of the Daily Deal Live? You can post that and other comments too there. But Jami, we absolutely appreciate you being on the show. By the way, Friday we're going to have a big announcement about this 20 group tech circles that the Car Dealership Guide Network is creating. You can join basically chat conversations with other people in the industry in your role. It would be awesome to have you join the COO, Chief Operating Officer, chat groups with myself and some others. It's a great resource to be able to kind of share
Huge.
ideas and best practices and talk about vendors and all the other things.
Okay.
So
I would
when
love it.
that pops up, come join it, fill
I would
out the
love it.
deal and
Will do.
join us. So we appreciate you being on the show today. Jami Langham, COO, Coleman Automotive Group. And again, we'd love to have you back once you've got some time under your feet and learn
Yes.
lessons as you grow this organization. Jami, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
guys.
Jamie.
I appreciate you. Thank you.